Dear student, in today's lecture we start new article from chapter number 2, Mechanical Properties of Fluid, Hydrostatic Paradox. Now what is hydrostatic paradox? Let me try to understand by its name. So hydro means water. Hydro means water. Static means at rest. And paradox, the word paradox means that something taking place surprisingly. Paradox means something taking place surprisingly is the meaning of this word hydrostatic paradox. So what exactly hydrostatic paradox in physics that we have to learn? So this is the elaboration by its name. Now here Pascal used number of vessels of different shapes containing water up to same height. You can see diagram. In that Pascal used a different shape vessel, and in every vessel a water is there up to a particular height. So height is same. So height is same everywhere. You can see this is the height. Okay? So height is same in every vessel. Then he observed the pressure at the bottom of every vessel, and he concluded that pressure at the bottom of every vessel is same. And that is the hydrostatic paradox. So you can see here. So Pascal written that the shape of vessel containing the liquid does not affect the pressure. Pressure at the bottom of any vessel does not depend on its shape, and this is called as hydrostatic paradox. As well as you can see here, this pressure does not depend on how much is the liquid present in that vessel also. You can see here, this is a textbook diagram. Now next article, and it is Pascal law. Scientist Pascal having a great contribution in the field of pressure, and because of that the SI unit of the pressure is Pascal, and Pascal is equivalent to this Newton per meter square. Now let me learn the Pascal law. So Pascal law states that the pressure applied to any point of the enclosed fluid at rest is transmitted equally and undiminished to every point of fluid and also on the wall of the container, provided the effect of gravity is neglected. Now, what exactly this mean? Let me consider one example, and by that example, I will try to explain it. So, pressure applied to any part of enclosed fluid. You can see here this diagram. So, this blue color is the enclosed fluid, and this enclosed fluid having a piston. This is a piston at A, B, then at C, and at D. The area at every piston is different. Area at every piston is different. Pressure is, everybody know that, force per unit area. Now here we applied some force F. We applied some force F at point A, and then we measured the pressure at point B, point C, and point D. Now let me check it on B. So pressure is force by area. Now here the force we observe, it is 2F, and area is greater than the area at A, which is 2A. So force divided by area, this 2 to get cancelled, we get F by A at point B. Now at point C, we observe that the pressure force is 3F. That time the area at C is 3A. So after substituting in a formula of pressure, these three and these three get cancelled. So we get F by A is the pressure at point C. Similarly, at point D, the force we observe it is F by 2, area A by 2. So we substituted it, these two get cancelled, and we can say that we get pressure F by A. So pressure applied at this point is F by A. Okay, same pressure transmitted equally to all the points inside B, C, and D. So pressure at B, C, D is equal to pressure at A. This indicates that pressure applied to piston A is transmitted equally and undiminished to all parts of fluid and the wall of vessel. And this is nothing but the Pascal law. Simply, we can say that Pascal law is a force magnification if the area is more. Now pay attention, here the force is F. But here at point B, area is double, so we get 2F is the force. At point C, area is tripled as compared to point A, so here we get force 3F. So here force is magnified. Now let me learn some applications of Pascal law. Then the concept about the Pascal law is more clear. The first application is hydraulic lift. Hydraulic lift is used in many places. It is used in many places. So generally it is used to lift heavy object using a small force. Since we are applying a small force and we can lift heavy object because of Pascal law, because it is a force magnification. Now you can see here, so this is a hydraulic lift structure. So here we are applying this some input force. So here it is input piston, and on that input piston we are applying force F1, and so at output we get force F2, and obviously F2 is greater than F1. Now you can see here this area is a lesser as compared to this area. So area is A1 here and here it is A2. See. Now by Pascal law, when we apply pressure to enclose, and this blue color is enclosed fluid. So when we apply a pressure to enclosed fluid, it is transmitted equally in all directions. Means pressure at input and pressure at output is same. So we can say that P1 is equal to P2. So as we are written P1 is equal to P2, then we substitute the formula. P1 is, we can say that this F1 divided by A1, and P2 is F2 divided by 8. By using that, we can write F2 is equal to, so F2 is equal to, we get F1 by A1 into A2. This area 2 is larger. You know that you can see in a diagram, area 2 is more as compared to area 1. So obviously we can write F2 is much larger than F1. F2 is larger. So you already seen this hydraulic lift to lift a heavy object such as car. So you can see here, so hydraulic lift is used to lift a car, as well as it is used in industry to lift heavy objects. Now second application of Pascal law, that is hydraulic brakes. Generally nowadays most of the vehicles, two-wheeler and car, they're having hydraulic brakes, because these hydraulic brakes are so powerful So you know that in by using Pascal law, we applied small force at the input, and if at output area is more, then we get a more force. Similar here in a hydraulic brake also, if we apply a smaller force at the brake lever, then when it reaches to the wheel, it is magnified if the area at the wheel is more. Now let's see here the structure of hydraulic brake. So this is the brake pedal. You can see here the brake pedal. So here we apply force by using our leg. So when we apply a force on the brake pedal, so we apply force at this point, at this area A1. Then this force or this pressure transmitted equally in all direction. You can see here, so this is an enclosed liquid. This is hydraulic tubes. Some liquid is there, okay, inside that tube. And this pressure transmitted in all direction, means pressure transmitted at 4 points here as per this diagram. So pressure applied at input and pressure at the output is same. But as per the area difference, the force is different. Here some force is applied on the brake by using this cylinder. So this is the structure of the hydraulic brake, which used to slow down or stop the motion of vehicle. Now next article is measurement of pressure. So instrument used to measure pressure are called as pressure meter, or it is also called as pressure gauge or vacuum gauge. So first instrument which measures the pressure is mercury barometer. This is a simple instrument. So an instrument that measures atmospheric pressure is called barometer. One of the barometer we have to consider, and it is Torricelli's barometer. You can see here, this is the mercury barometer. So in that you can see different point A, B, C. These are the different points, and you can see height here. So pressure at point B is given by this formula. Pressure at point A plus H rho G. Such type of formulas we already learned in the previous article also. So this gives us pressure at B. So here, this H rho G, you know that H is height, rho is the density of the liquid, and G is acceleration due to gravity. PA is the pressure at point A. Now here, some points we have to remember. Atmospheric pressure is generally expressed as a length of mercury column in mercury barometer. So basically, let me consider a simple example of atmospheric pressure. It is, atmospheric pressure is generally written like 76 centimeter of Hg. It is the length of the mercury barometer. This is the length of mercury barometer. Now, second pressure measuring instrument is open tube manometer. A manometer consists of U-shaped tube. So this open tube manometer is U-shaped tube partially filled with low density liquid such as water or kerosene. You can see it in a diagram. This is open tube manometer. Now pressure at point B and C is same. So you can see here the point B and C, they are at same horizontal level. So pressure is same. And A is at height H. The point A is at height H from the point B. So pressure at C and pressure at B, it is same. The pressure at point B is given by this formula. P0 plus H rho G. P0 is the atmospheric pressure plus H rho G. In this formula, rho is the density of liquid, H is the height, G is acceleration due to gravity. After this, we have to take one problem. So it is problem number 10 from exercise. Now what they given in this problem? let's see. Find pressure. So we have to find out pressure. 200 meters below the surface of the ocean. If pressure on the free surface of liquid is 1 atmosphere, density of seawater is 1060 kilogram per meter cube. We have to find out pressure. Pressure on free surface is given. Means here, they given H height 200 meter. So pressure on the free surface means atmospheric pressure. It is 1 atmosphere, and 1 atmosphere we convert into the Newton per meter square by multiplying it by 1 into 10 raised to 5. Density of seawater 1060 kg per meter cube. Acceleration due to gravity we are taking 10. Now the formula for the pressure is P is equal to P0 plus H rho g. Now everything is given here from the formula. You have to find out P. Now here you can try to solve this calculation by pausing this video. Now here we substitute this P0. Now after that, this is H multiplied by rho multiplied by G. So it is coming. 10 raised to 5 we are taken outside. So here we get 1, and here after taking 10 raised to 5 common, we get 2 into 10.60 into 1. So this multiplication is coming 21.2. 21.2 plus 1, it is coming 22.2 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per meter square. This is the pressure. So here we obtain the pressure at depth 200 meters. Now second problem, and it is problem number 11 from the exercise of this chapter. In a hydraulic lift, the input piston had surface area 30 centimeters square, and output piston has surface area 1500 centimeters square. If a force of 25 Newton is applied to the input piston, calculate weight on output piston. Now here, this problem is related to the hydraulic lift. So they given here. So input area 30 centimeters square, output area 1500 centimeters square. So F1 25 Newton and F2 we have to find out. So we have to use your Pascal law. By Pascal law, pressure at input is equal to pressure at output. So input pressure I use P1, output pressure P2. So formula of the pressure is F by, so input pressure F1 by A1 and output pressure F2 by A2. Now we have to find out this F2 we have to find out. So we can write formula for F2. F2 is equal to F1 divided by A1 multiplied by A2. Now after substitution, we get this. Now here, listen, we use this F1 is in Newton and A1 and A2 is in centimeters square. It's a ratio. It's a ratio of A2 and A1. So no need to convert it into the meter square, or if you convert into the meter square, you can write it is 30 into 10 raised to minus 4 meter square, and it is coming 1500 into 10 raised to minus 4 meter square. After substitution, when we are taking the ratio, this 10 raised to minus 4, 10 raised to minus 4 get cancelled, and again we get this same. So we get here, after solving this calculation, the force at output piston is 1250 Newton, and this is the weight on output piston. in this lecture we have to stop here, because in the next lecture we have to start new article from this chapter, and it is surface tension. So here all the article related to pressure is over.